Hey, what's going on, guys? Aaron here. I got an install video for you guys today. This install video, we're going to be installing a front mount intercooler kit, and this intercooler kit is going to be by a company named Modal Works. They're based out of Texas. They recently relocated to Texas from California, so check them out, modalwork.com. You can go and find some great performance parts for Mercedes Benz models on their website, so check them out. There'll be a link in the description below. And shout out to that dude Christian, cool dude. So the ModalWorks front mount intercooler kit is going to comprise of a Mishimoto J-Line Intercooler core, a structural mounting bracket that was designed by ModalWorks. It's going to be bolting up to your front bumper support bar, or also known as the front crash bar of the vehicle. Minimal drilling is going to be required to the front bumper support bar / crash bar. You're pretty much just going to be boring out some pre-existing holes that the front bumper support bar / crash bar came with from Mercedes Benz, from the dealership, from factory. Turbo Muffler Delete. This is a newer Turbo Muffler Delete. It's designed to go and be used with clamps and couplers, as opposed to the factory Mercedes Benz intercooler piping with their low locking clip that they have. A billet aluminum throttle body adapter piece designed by ModalWorks. It has a port on it that will allow you to go and run either nitrous or methanol injection, you know, you name it. So that's pretty cool. A charge pipe kit. All right, you have a charge pipe kit that comes with the couplers and the clamps. We're gonna go through everything with it. This is pretty much a step-by-step install video, so you'll pretty much get the gist of everything you need to do, and I pretty much will tell you all the tools that I'm going to be using throughout the video. So give it a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe if you want. I might have more videos coming soon, so stay tuned, guys. Alright, so first things first with the install, guys, we're going to need to pop our hood if we don't have our hood already open, or bonnet. You know, if you're from Europe, you know, I know you guys like to call it a bonnet. So we're going to need to go and undo some clips from the Fender Liner that we have in here. But in order to do so, for better access, we're going to need to turn our vehicle on. We're going to have to go and turn our steering wheel clockwise as well as counterclockwise to go and gain better access to go and get these clips removed. Once we remove these clips from the Fender Liner, we are then able to go and have access to the two mounting bolts that secure the front bumper to the fender, each fender. So you have a total of 4 bolts that we're going to be having to go and remove from the bumper to the fender. Once we've done that, we're going to have to go and undo any kind of clips that are holding in the lighting for, say, our fog lights or DRLs, whatever you want to refer to them as well as our side markers lights. Turn your vehicle on and get the steering wheel turned, so that way you can access those clips, get the front bumper removed. So what we're going to need for this portion of the removal is something that we can use, like some flathead screwdrivers. I like to go and kind of wedge them in between each clip. Just like that. That's how the clips come out. That's what you want to go and do. You're going to want to remove like 3 clips. And bam, that's 3 clips right there. And then you would be able to go and put your finger in there. I'm gonna kind of move the fender liner to the side, and then you'd have access to inside here, where you're gonna have 2 10mm bolts that secure the bumper to the fender. That's going to be the very exact same on the passenger side of the vehicle. I'm going to use my little socket screwdriver here with my 10mm socket, and I am going to undo these bolts. We got the 2 screws that secure the bumper to the fender off. So now we're gonna kind of move the bumper a little bit from its current location. Okay. And we're doing this just so we can go and gain better access to the side marker connector, so we can remove that from the bumper. Okay. So now we got the connector undone from the side marker here. And so we would pretty much do the same exact thing on the passenger side of the vehicle. And so now we're at the step where we need to go and remove our front air ram as well as our grille. Now with the ModalWorks high flow intake system, the heat shield and the carbon fiber heat shield cover is pretty much going to have to come off in order for us to go and remove the factory air ram as well as the grille. So we're going to remove these 4 Allen key screws here from the ModalWorks high flow intake system heat shield. Now if you don't happen to have the ModalWorks high flow intake system and you happen to have the factory air box intake system, then what you would pretty much do is remove that tubing that connects to the air ram. Is you gotta go and push down on a clip, and then you can go and pull back on that tubing and then detach the other end of the tubing from the factory air box. We were going to have to remove this intake heat shield anyway for better access to the throttle body, because we were going to be installing the throttle body adapter piece as well as the charge pipes for from our intercooler kit. With the cover taken off, we can now proceed to removing the air ram. How you're going to want to do that is you go and pretty much put your hand right back here. You want to go and pull up, okay, just like that, simple. And then do the same thing on this side, pull up, okay. We also can either keep this in here or we can take this out. This is from ModalWorks as well. It's a little air scoop. Pretty much will go and help to get all the airflow to go and get focused into the air inlet here on the air ram. So I'm going to put that to the side as well. yeah, so we got this undone. Now we need to go and twist this little clip here, so that way we can make sure when we remove this air ram here, it doesn't go and take the grill with it. Even though we are removing the grill as well, we just don't want to break anything. So now, what we need to do is kind of pull the air ram forward, because it has clips that are here. So actually it's not pulling it forward necessarily, you're pushing down and bringing it forward. So what you want to do is kind of lock it back in place. I'm going to kind of push down just like that. So you push down and forward, and you want to do the same with this side. Make sure that it's undone, and then push down. Okay. To remove the grill, because we're going to need to remove the grill, go ahead and remove this 110mm bolt. So just undo that bolt there. Okay. Now my car is equipped with the LED star, so I'm gonna undo the clip that's securing the wiring to that, and now I'm gonna focus on getting this grill removed. So pretty much just gotta kind of push it in and pop it out. Okay. There was one thing I forgot about the front bumper removal. There's actually bolts right here and right here. They have to go and be removed. Those are actually holding the bumper on into place. Those are also 10mm bolts, so you want to remove those as well. Now, all the bolts that secure the front bumper into place have been removed. Now, what we're going to want to do here is this little piece here from the headlight seal. You want to go and pop that up and slide it out from place. Just like that. So that way you can go and remove the front bumper. Do the very exact same thing on the passenger side as well. So up and slide out. And so now we should be able to go and bring the front bumper forward. But remember, we need to go and undo the wiring that goes to these here Foglight LEDs. Pretty much want to go and take your flathead and pretty much put it right there and then push back. And once you've done that, the clip's unlocked, and you push down on that gray clip and you wiggle it off. That's how you do that. Alright guys, so we got the front bumper undone from the front of the vehicle. So we're just gonna kind of put the bumper to the side carefully. You don't want to damage it, you don't want to scratch it, you don't want to do anything bad to your bumper. And so now we just have to figure out what all we need to do here. We pretty much have the option to remove this bar here, remove these two screws from up here, those bolts really, from up there, or we can undo it from the actual front bumper support bar. Well, I myself personally don't have the proper kind of bits and whatnot, or size bits, to go and undo it from right down there. So I'm gonna take the easy way and undo it from up top here. I'm using a Torx T-30 bit. So we retrieved our tool that fell down in front of the radiator. Luckily, didn't lose the bit that was on it. So let's continue. Push forward, don't want to mess up the threads and the bolt. Okay, now that is undone. And from here, we're gonna pretty much have to go and undo this here bolt for the headlight from each side, because remember, we have a bolt that's pretty much securing the front bumper support bar here in place. That's kind of impossible to access without moving the headlights. So let's do that. These headlight bolts are 8mm, they're not 10s. So we're just going to undo them. You may have to adjust your headlight upon reinstalling. So we got this, so put that aside. Should give you just enough space to get your tool underneath the headlight. You just gotta make sure you have the right tool for the job. I myself personally, I don't believe I do, but I'm gonna make this stuff work. Alright guys, so I pretty much got my ratchet. I put my extension on there, I put an adapter on there, and I put a 8mm socket on there, and then I put a Torx T-45 bit on there. So when I mentioned that I don't have the correct tools for the job, I improvised and made something work. We're gonna attempt to undo this bolt here. It's gonna take some force to get these bolts out undone. So just give me a heads up. As far as getting that inner bolt taken out from both sides, you can go ahead and just remove that inner headlight bolt to allow the headlight to kind of move outward. But be careful, because I kind of got my headlight lens a little bit scratched by my fender here, so that's why I went and got some styrofoam, some thin styrofoam, and I kind of tucked it in between. I wedged it in between the fender and my headlight there, so that way when I would go and move the headlight, it would protect my headlight lens from being scuffed. And I did the very same thing on the driver's side. Alright guys, so we went and removed those 4 Torx T-45 bolt head bolts from the front bumper support bar, which were there on the passenger side, and then 2 right over here on the driver's side. Alright guys, so the next step of the removal process of the front mount intercooler, the factory front mount intercooler, is we're gonna have to go and remove 4 10mm bolts. We got these two right here, and it's gonna pretty much be the same exact thing on the passenger side. We're also gonna have to go and remove 2 8mm bolts that are securing a bracket that is kind of bolted to the bottom of the front bumper support bar from the bottom of the splash guard. So those are going to be down here. Right here on the passenger side, and then right here on the driver's side. This right here, that is the horn. Back here, you can see exactly where the horn's bracket is like bolted on to the back of the front bumper support bar here. You go and undo that bolt, that 10mm bolt, then you'll have better access. Or I mean, you can, I guess on this side, on the driver's side, it didn't seem as easy to go and be able to get your finger in here to undo the clip for the horn. So that's why I kind of just unbolted the horn from the back of the front bumper support bar. And then you have that yellow clip in there, and you would just pretty much go and unlock the tab by pulling it back and then pressing down on the tab to go and release the connector from the plug. Once we've done this on both the driver and passenger side, we already have all the other bolts undone that were holding the front bumper support bar into place. We should then be able to go and remove it completely from the front of the vehicle. Just like that. Oh, that was a mission. So now you can see that we have access here to the factory front mount intercooler. For this next step of the factory intercooler removal, we're going to have to go and lower down the splash guard from the bottom of the vehicle. There are 2 8mm screws that are currently securing it into place. Once we get that lowered down, we'll have access to go and remove these clips that are securing the intercooler into its current position, and we can then get it removed from the bottom of the vehicle. Screws right in here. And then we also have the other one. It's going to be on this side here. Right there. This portion of the removal process of the factory intercooler, we're going to use a flathead screwdriver here. So you want to go and unclip the air sensor wiring. There's like a little clip that's kind of connected right onto what looks like the bottom of the intercooler. It's this kind of clip that's on there. Alright, so we're pretty much Gonna go ahead and remove the factory intercooler pipes. So we're gonna have to use a flathead screwdriver, and we're gonna have to place it just in the right spot underneath, so that way we can get it to pull down. And forward. Just like so. And now you're able to pull the pipe right off. So you gotta pull it down so that way it pretty much releases from its locking point, which is right in there. So you want to bring it down and forward, and just repeat that on the other side as well. Since we got the factory intercooler pipes undone from the actual intercooler, we're going to go ahead and detach them from the top side. Pretty much we're just kind of push in the factory intercooler pipe and use your flathead to go and pop up the clamp out of its place. And then you pull right back. Remove the factory intercooler pipe from the passenger side. Now, in order to get the factory piping on the driver's side, we're going to have to go and remove our heat shield, undo the Allen key bolt that you have right here. Remove the K&N air filter now. I'm using an 8mm socket. So now we have access to a throttle body adapter piece that we're going to be swapping out, as well as the factory intercooler pipe. So the intercooler pipe is same exact thing as the other side. You pretty much just go and push it in, and then use a flathead screwdriver to go and pry up on the clip to go and release it, and then just pull it off. Alright guys, so we got all the factory intercooler piping taken out. Next step is going to be to get this factory intercooler removed itself. So you want to go and pretty much take like a flathead screwdriver and you're going to want to wedge it right in here, lift up on that tab, and you're going to push it forward. And while you do that, you kind of pull forward on the actual intercooler itself and kind of downward so it unhinges from the top right there.
One thing to note is that you're going to have to remove these tabs that are circled on the screen in order to get the intercooler off of the front of the vehicle. How you go and do so is by pushing down on the tabs and then pushing it back towards you.
You can now carefully remove it from the vehicle. So there it is. The factory intercooler has been removed. And so now we're gonna remove this piece here. In order to do so, you'll have to go in somehow get down in here with like a flathead screwdriver underneath the wires that connect to the radiator, because there's a clip right there that is kind of clipped in there to this little intercooler mounting bracket piece. And there's also the air sensor. You just have to go and pull down on the gray tab there, the locking tab, pull down on it, and it should allow you to remove the air sensor from that plastic intercooler mounting bracket. Alright, so you unclipped the air sensor from the factory intercooler mounting bracket. What you're going to want to do is run the wiring that's for the air sensor right along here. The clip that you undid from the factory intercooler, you can kind of clip it right in there on the side of where the intercooler was actually locked into place, and that should be nice. Looks almost OEM, I'd say. And then you just kind of run the rest of the wiring up the side here, just like so. Have that tucked in right there, and then I have the sensor kind of wrapped around, goes right through there, and I have the sensor zip tied to the transmission oil cooler lines. Alright guys, so we are now going to remove the turbo muffler delete. It's 3 8mm bolts that are securing it into place. So we're just going to go and loosen those and remove it. For this next step, we're going to need to go and remove the rubber seal that is on our old turbo muffler delete, or if you're running the factory turbo muffler from Mercedes, make sure to remove the rubber seal from that to go and carry it over to the new turbo muffler delete that came with your front mount intercooler kit from ModalWorks. Alright, so here we are, the turbo muffler delete, the old one. So what we're going to do is pretty much just get our flathead screwdriver carefully in there, just so we can go and get this seal out. Okay. This is the new turbo muffler delete from ModalWorks that came with the front mount intercooler kit. It is only compatible with the front mount intercooler kit, seeing that it's set up for the coupler kind of design. So the factory intercooler piping that we had that clipped into place won't work with this. So we're going to go and transfer that rubber seal that we took off of our old turbo muffler delete from ModalWorks, and we're going to slap it right on to this new one here. So we got the seal on here nicely, and now we can just go ahead and install this thing. How it goes is you just go ahead and put it down into place. One. There's a total of 3. So next step is we're gonna have to remove the factory pre-throttle body housing that we have here. So in order to go and remove this piece, there is a hose that was on this port here. I removed it off camera. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a challenge to go and get that hose removed. It comes with a little clamp on it. Pretty much you're gonna have to like use a needle-nose pliers or some kind of pliers to go and squeeze it down, and while squeezing it down using like a small flathead screwdriver or something to go and pry it apart to go and loosen this clamp. After you get the clamp removed, you then have to either try to use some pliers and kind of twist the hose down towards where the port is and try to get it to get removed. This hose is kind of glued on from the factory, so yeah, it is a bit of a challenge. It took me some time to go and get it undone. I ended up kind of wedging a flathead screwdriver underneath the hose while kind of, you know, pushing upward and whatnot with my flathead, as well as kind of tugging on the hose. But luckily the hose didn't break or any of that kind of stuff for me. After that, you're gonna have some clips that you're gonna have to go and undo. So we have this little kind of clip right here. You guys are familiar with it from one of the previous steps in the install, well, the removal of the factory pieces that we had, the connections. There's a gray tab right here, and what we have to do is pull back on it, pull down on it, and then you're gonna press down on that gray tab and remove it. So now we have to go and remove 4 Torx T-20 screws that secure the pre-throttle body housing to the throttle body. Alright, so now we have the pre-throttle body housing removed. We're now going to take the throttle body itself out. Just slide it right on out. Be careful with it though, because you do have it connected still. Should be okay right where we have it here. That's where I placed it. So we're just going to be swapping in the ModalWorks throttle body adapter piece. Here we are. We have the ModalWorks throttle body adapter here. And so right here we have 2 threaded ports. These ports are for these screws that are supplied with the kit, and that's pretty much where the sensor is going to be mounting. So let's go ahead and remove the sensor from the factory pre-throttle body housing. It's 2 Torx T-20 screws securing it into place. So let's go ahead and remove that. Those are removed. Let me take your sensor out. Okay. Another thing we're gonna have to do, guys, is we're gonna have to take our little rubber seal here out from the factory pre-throttle body housing and transfer it over to the ModalWorks throttle body housing adapter piece. So I'm going to use my flathead screwdriver and I'm going to wedge it in there carefully. And lift up on it. Okay, just like that. What you're going to do is place the sensor right in there and push down. That way it's in place. And then the supplied screws that you received from ModalWorks with your kit are going to be securing it down into place. They're Allen key screws. So just tighten those down. And there you have it. The sensor is now installed onto the ModalWorks throttle body adapter piece, and this is ready for reinstalling onto your vehicle. Once you've reinstalled your throttle body with the ModalWorks throttle body adapter, you've put the 4 Torx T-20 screws back into place. Now you're going to want to go ahead and remember to put the connector for the sensor back on, and then press the clip in to lock it into place. And then you make sure to go ahead and get the hose back on there onto the fitting of the adapter piece. And then once you've done that, go ahead and get your clamp down into place, and pretty much all you gotta do is lock down the clamp. You're gonna want to go ahead and get the hose clipped back in to these mounts, just to go and secure it, so that way it's not flapping all over the place, because you do have your belts here for your motor, and so you don't want it to somehow make contact with that whatsoever. So just make sure to go ahead and do that before finishing up over on this end. Okay guys, so next thing on the install, we're gonna go ahead and get the Mishimoto J-Line Intercooler pretty much mounted onto our front bumper support bar. Now how we go about doing so is exactly like this. So this is the ModalWorks structural mounting bracket supplied with the front mount intercooler kit. It is designed for the J-Line intercooler from Mishimoto. What we're gonna have to do for this install is we have 2 bolts that we were supplied with from ModalWorks, and these bolts are going to be running through the top mounting holes right here. And so there are
2 holes on the front bumper support bar that we're going to have to go ahead and bore out to get these bolts here to go and fit right on through. So you would take your structural mounting bracket, and it kind of just fits right on like this. So you would then run your bolts through the holes after you've bored out the holes a little bit bigger, because bolts that are supplied with the kit will not fit through these holes as of right now. After you've done that, you will need to get your bolts that you were supplied with that came with the MW J-Line Intercooler. And so those bolts would pretty much go through these bottom mounting spots. And then you would then be able to go and secure the intercooler to the front bumper support bar. So as soon as you guys have a drill and some drill bits, go ahead and get those 2 holes that the structural mounting bracket are going to be utilizing and get them bored out. Also, you know, you're going to want to go ahead and get a bolt out just to go and you know, test to see if it will fit, because you don't want to go and bore these holes out too large. So as of right now, you can see that the bolt will not fit through the hole, so we're gonna have to go and bore them out. Alright, and just like that, I was able to go ahead and get the bolt to fit into place. So just minimal boring of these holes on the front bumper support bar here. So I'm going to go ahead and drill out the other hole so I can go and get that bolt to go through. Just like that. Okay, so we've bored out the 2 holes that we're going to be utilizing for the structural mounting bracket from ModalWorks. So grab your structural mounting bracket. Before securing the ModalWorks structural mounting bracket to the front bumper support bar, I advise you to mount the J-Line intercooler to the structural mounting bracket first, as the mounting holes for the intercooler don't have that great of access once the structural mounting bracket has been secured. I didn't do this at first, so you'll notice the intercooler isn't mounted yet in the next few clips. And you're pretty much taking it and you're sliding it over the front bumper support bar here, lining it up into place. Take the bolts that were supplied with the kit, run them through, and what you're going to do is put the locking nut on the back, thread it on. So the proper position that the structural mounting bracket is supposed to go and sit at is it's supposed to be sitting all the way up, just like so. So for us to go ahead and tighten down these mounting bolts here for the structural mounting bracket, we're gonna require either a 13mm socket or a 1/2 inch socket. So that's gonna be for both the bolt head and the nut. So I'm just going to be using my 1/2 inch socket here and my wrench. Alright, for the next step of the install, we're going to reinstall our front bumper support bar, which we already mounted our ModalWorks structural mounting bracket for the J-Line intercooler from MW.
So as you can see in this video, I'm pretty much reinstalling the front bumper support bar with only the structural mounting bracket. It wasn't until after I went and did this that I realized that the intercooler really needed to be mounted to the structural mounting bracket before being attached to the front bumper support bar. And also the intercooler needs to be mounted in a certain direction. I'll show you next. You want to have the inlet and the outlet facing as far back as possible. That's the proper way to go and have the intercooler mounted. Pay attention to the ends of the intercooler itself. The side that is flat is considered the most furthest back, as you can see in the video right now. And so the front is pretty much going to have like a kind of a backward slant to it. So keep that in mind. That's how you identify which direction the intercooler must face when installing. Alright, so you went and reinstalled your front bumper support bar with your J-Line intercooler from Mishimoto, as well as your structural mounting bracket from ModalWorks. So after you do that, you're gonna want to go ahead and get your couplers, clamps, and charge pipes installed and get that routed. So pretty much on the passenger side of the vehicle where the turbo is, you have the turbo muffler delete, and then you have a 90-degree coupler that you're supplied with, and you're going to connect that coupler to the turbo muffler delete, and then you're supplied with a large L-shaped pipe. You're going to go ahead and connect that pipe to the other end of this 90-degree silicone coupler, and then further down you'll have a straight coupler. Pretty much go ahead and get connected to the other end of that L-shaped pipe, and then you're supplied with a U-shaped pipe that you're going to connect to the straight silicone coupler, and then it's going to wrap around, and you're going to have a straight coupler that connects right onto the intercooler, and you're going to clamp that down in place. On the driver's side, you're going to have a reducer coupler that you're supplied with that's going to be connecting. It's going to be sliding right on to the throttle body adapter piece that you got from ModalWorks, or you can call it a throttle body inlet housing. And so you're going to be connecting that reducer coupler onto there, and then you're supplied with a smaller L-shaped charge pipe. You're going to connect that to there, and then you're also going to have a straight coupler that connects to the other end of that small L-shaped pipe. And then on the other end of that small L-shaped pipe with the straight coupler that you connected to it, you're going to go and connect your U-shaped pipe, and then another straight coupler that connects to the intercooler over here on the driver's side. Now I went in, pretty much had the horns unbolted, as well as these little brackets unbolted from the splash guard here, as well as the bottom of the front bumper support bar, just for more access to be able to go and get these charge pipes here installed with the most ease as possible. Pretty much after that, guys, that's just the install, you know. Then go ahead and, you know, button everything back up. You know, you would go ahead and get those little brackets reinstalled, get your horns bolted back up to the back of the front bumper support bar. You would go ahead and get this little support bar here that's for the radiator support to the front bumper support bar. You would go ahead and get that bolted back up. You go and get these bolts right there on both sides bolted back in there. Get your headlight bolts back in.
get your bolts on the sides here, on the passenger side as well as the driver's side. You would go ahead and get your grille reinstalled, get your air am reinstalled, put your intake back into place and whatnot. You go ahead and slap your front bumper back on, get your clips back into your fender liner, and you have yourself a ModalWorks front mount intercooler kit installed in your vehicle. Now, for maximum performance, you're gonna want to go and get it tuned. That's how you're gonna go and you're gonna see the maximum performance out of your install that you did today. So keep that in mind. You will still see some performance increases, but you will see even more upon retuning your vehicle or getting your vehicle tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want. I might have some more install videos for you guys in the near future. So until then, I'm Aaron. It's been fun. Catch you guys on the next one. Later.